Good morning. Welcome to day 5 of our love challenge. If you're just joining us on this series, we are talking about essentially the first 5 chapters of this book called The Love Dare. This is my second time through this book, and it is targeted towards, whatever you want to call it, marriages. So improving your marriage through showing love in different ways, understanding love, and really it's just all about love if you didn't get that from the title. But also just a call to action with everything and actually applying what is in the book. And so I've decided to share that. So this is day 5, the last 4 days, I have shared different ways to show love. And so if you're just seeing this video now, please go back and check out the previous 4 days. I will be uploading this onto YouTube, so if you're seeing this from YouTube, check out my YouTube channel and you can get all that information. All right, let's get to it. Day 5 of the Love Challenge. We're talking about respect. So love is not rude, which sort of just seems self-explanatory, but like I shared earlier this week, sometimes the people we love the most don't get the best of us. And I know that's not our intent, not what we want, but unfortunately that's how it is sometimes. And I think it starts with just making yourself aware of that and choosing to act differently, choosing to make more of an effort, choosing to make yourself aware of things that you can change, and then, figuring out how you can do that, which is essentially the point of this challenge, is to make myself aware and then just spread the message of love to other people to help them hopefully decide to do this as well. So love is not rude. When driven by love, we are more thoughtful with our actions and our behaviors. I think, again, it's just making ourselves aware. Sometimes we aren't even aware that the things that we're doing are not pleasant for other people, that could be seen as rude or disrespectful. So again, just making ourselves aware. Love drives us to be more thoughtful with our actions and our behaviors, our common habits. People who are more aware of that and make the effort to not be rude are more pleasant to be around because they avoid doing things that bother other people. Genuine love minds its manners, which again is sort of silly, but if you think about it, if you truly respect and love your spouse or the person you're with or whatever, you are respectful of them by being polite around them and using your manners. Honor the relationship, whether it be your marriage, your friendship, your coworkers, by choosing to change your behavior. All right, so here's an example in my relationship of something that I do that bothers my husband that I didn't know, something that I can just simply change by making myself more aware of it, and this little habit that I can do to change, to respect him, to not be rude towards him. And one day he pointed out that I sip my coffee. I'm a loud sipper, and I didn't even realize that, which is most common in our habits that annoy other people. We don't even realize it, because if we did, obviously we would be more mindful of it and polite about it. But anyway, I am a loud sipper when I drink my coffee. So now whenever I'm around him, I remind myself that I'm loud and that he doesn't enjoy that, that it's not good manners, I'm not pleasant to be around if I'm always sipping loudly. And I just simply choose to make myself aware of that and to not sip. Something as simple as that. So whether that be for your marriage or a relationship that you do, maybe it's something like with your kids, that you're always saying the word no to them, right? And that obviously bothers them. It doesn't make them feel good. And while that's not necessarily a manner, it's just a matter of listening to them and respecting them by choosing to say things in a different way, right? You can also think of something like a coworker or just somebody, your roommate, and just little things that you do to that's not good manners. That maybe it's, you know, not putting your, maybe it's chewing loudly, maybe not chewing with your mouth closed. That's something I tell my daughter. Maybe it's something about, you know, not hanging up your coat or leaving your shoes in a certain place. And while those things to you may not seem like a big deal, but it's respectful, and to you know, take care of those things. Simple things that you can do to show love to somebody by using good manners. All right, so that could be something like maybe with your grandma that, you know, maybe you are, don't use proper language when around your grandma. Maybe you use some slang, explicit things, and obviously just out of respect, you know, honor her by using appropriate language. That's another idea. People who practice good etiquette or have good manners tend to raise the respect level of the environment and the people around them. That's pretty self-explanatory as well. You know, whenever you are holding yourself to higher standards, whenever you have better manners, everyone else around you is sort of raised to that level of respect. It's the same, you know, you get in return what you give. So of course, by, you know, you yourself having the good manners, everyone around you is going to treat you better as well. So, you know, you're going to feel happier. You're going to feel more loved, as well as everybody else that you're with. So the two main reasons people are rude is ignorance and self-centeredness. So the example with my coffee, just ignorance. I just didn't have any idea that it bothered him. So all it took was him saying, you know, you are a loud sipper. And then the self-centeredness would come if, knowing that, I chose not to change. You know, I chose to just, whatever, I don't care about you. I want to drink my coffee this way. That's how I'm going to drink it. So of course, when I'm drinking it by myself, I can definitely be a loud sipper, but out of respect for him and in front of him, I want to, you know, show love to him by doing this little simple change and not being a loud sipper. So the good news is both these two main reasons that people are rude, the ignorance and the self-centeredness, can be reversed. Learn better etiquette. Once you know what it is, what you've made yourself aware of it, just learn better etiquette. Learn how to drink your coffee quietly. And then, you know, how do you solve that self-centeredness? That may take a little more time, because if you are used to the habit just always thinking about yourself and being self-centered, it may definitely take some practice, but all you have to do is make the choice. Choose to respect others by focusing more on them and how they feel. So in all this together, summary of these two is really just choose. Choose to either ask your spouse or to choose to take notice of this thing that is rude or disrespectful, and then make the choice to change. Make the choice to make a change to be more polite and respectful and show love by not being rude. All right, so that is what I have for you today. So of course, the challenge, I challenge you to show love to someone today by not being rude. Maybe there is an exact, you know, example already that maybe somebody has shared with you that you do, a habit that you have that is disrespectful to them, or they feel is rude. And obviously that is the thing that you can improve on. You know, this isn't something necessarily that happens overnight, but it starts with making yourself aware of it. So if somebody hasn't pointed something out to you, maybe you just need to take a second and think about the things that you're doing, the actions, the behaviors, the habits that you're doing, and see if it is possibly rude to someone else or disrespectful. It could even just be something that you speak in language. You know, maybe there's a certain way that you talk, or the things that you focus on. You know, like I think about, as soon as I come home, if I've been gone and my husband's been here, I automatically like see all these things that I wish he would have done, right? So why aren't the dishes done? Why didn't you clean up these things, right? And so although that may be what I'm thinking, it is a pretty rude greeting that when I come home, I constantly list off these things that I thought he should have done that he didn't do. So that could be something that maybe you do in your life as well, is that when you your greeting is not necessarily one of love. It's more of you know, what you're thinking in your mind. And so it's not, definitely not to suppress those things and not deal with those things, but is your initial greeting a loving greeting? So when your kids come home from school, are you constantly, you know, how was your behavior today? Do you have any homework? Versus, you know, just showing love. And while that may not be considered rude or disrespectful, it's obviously a behavior that you would want to change out of respect for them, you know, showing love for them by asking how their day was and loving them. So those are two examples, but you know, in reality, we are all different. We have different things to improve on. So you'll definitely have to take a look in your habits and see what you can improve on. But my challenge is show someone love today by not being rude to them, by changing a behavior that is typically, you know, bad manners or disrespectful or just plain rude. So if you have taken this challenge today, please comment below with one way that you showed love to someone today by not being rude. All right, guys, have a great Friday.